Well, welcome to Faroe Field. I'm Bill Pollock of MissouriNet.com, and I'm joined by Seth Merenbloom of CampusPressBox.com, podcast writer, and I want to talk to him about his writing. Seth, thanks for joining me. It looks like you're nice and dry so far. We are, and hopefully the rain holds off here tonight.
Yeah. Yes, all the way around. I am nice and dry, and I hope the rain does hold off in time to see the Tigers through to a victory tonight.
Well, you came out swinging a few days ago with an article, and I'm going to screen share it here in a second, but you were critical of the way that the Matty Mauk suspension has been handled, talking about the fans, talking about Gary Pinkel, and talking about us in the media. So for people that haven't seen the article yet, give us a little brief overview of what you were targeting and what your point that you're trying to make, because I thought you brought up some good points, interesting points.
Well, my targets specifically, and I mean, since I was so pointed, I'm just going to, be as transparent as I can, since that's one of my criticisms of Gary Pinkel. The targets of those articles for me were Todd Palmer, Dave Matter, and David Morrison, to be perfectly honest with everybody. My contention is when Gary Pinkel steps before the media, whether it's with situations like Matty Mauk's suspension or suspensions, plural, or just, basic game in and game out level of play from the team, the media, those beat writers in particular, really just take all of Pinkel's canned responses, right in step, don't really push him on it. And, when it's about the game, I think, we as fans can accept that. When it's about things like suspensions, especially within the context of the growing number that Gary Pinkel's program has had, I think the media not only owes it to the fans, but also owes it to themselves to press Pinkel on it, to dig into it, because when Pinkel gives his canned answers, I think he's letting a lot of people down in doing so.
What would you like to see from Pinkel or hear from Pinkel that would maybe satisfy you and maybe satisfy some fans that are looking for some answers?
For me personally, because I can't speak for all of the other fans. It seems like as a fan base we're pretty across the board on our feelings on this topic. But for me personally, with the Matty Mauk suspension in particular, especially the first one, even if he just says, look, this is a personal matter, with Mauk. Mauk and we have spoken about it, and I'm helping him work through it. I think that would have come off better to at least myself than when the media would say, hey, have you talked to Mauk about this? And Pinkel didn't seem to even acknowledge that the two of them had spoken or not. I mean, I understand, Pinkel wanting to protect his players, but I think he drives that to the point where it just looks like he's insulating them.
Well, that's a good point. To take the other end of it, what do we gain by Pinkel saying those things?
I think what the fan base gains, and maybe the boosters, those high level fans, those high money fans, in particular, is he gains the real trust of the fans like myself. For me, then I feel like, all right, I trust the relationship that these beat writers have with the head coach. I trust that they're not just lackeys and just feeding all of us the company line. And if you go higher up the fan ladder, if you're the boosters, a year or so ago, Pinkel went to Alden, went to the fans and said, hey, I need a couple $1 million more. I think it was like 10 million or something like that, because to really be up to speed with the rest of the SEC, we really need, better south end zone facilities. But then he doesn't want to have really any level of transparency with the same group of fans that he's asking for millions of dollars from.
All right, interesting point. Seth Merenbloom from Campus Press Box. Let me try to find your. Make sure I've got this screen shared where I can pull this up. I'll have to try to find this here so we can. Hold on, bear with me because I want to try to get this. I mean, we won't be able to read it, but maybe I can get the screen share so people can at least see. Here we go. Let's see. Do we have it now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. So you've got snarky tweets from the closet Missouri Tiger fans, and their inferiority complex. And I'll have this linked at MissouriNet.com. You talked about the media, and I want to go back to that because obviously I'm in that group, and I wasn't necessarily targeted in your article. You were going more for the major markets where the Mizzou fans are. But do you buy the reasoning that there's a fine line to walk because you have to keep that relationship positive, you have to keep it open, or is that what journalism is all about? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's the reporters' reasoning at all. If they're afraid of ruining relationships and not having doors open to them where they have an opportunity to talk to athletes more in depth or coaches. But is there a trust issue there? And where's that fine line between journalism and trying to find that compromise between what a coach says and digging?
And Bill, I think that is an excellent point that you bring up, and I think one side of that coin is yes, there is a difference between the beat writer for the team and someone that wears more of the editorialist hat. And I think an example of that is what Joe Strauss has been writing lately about Gary Pinkel and his Missouri Tiger program. And, Joe has ruffled a lot of the fans' feathers as well, because they're hearing a message that's, a pretty bitter pill to swallow, but as far as the beat writers, yeah, they want to continue to have access because it is their career, it is their livelihood, that is what they pay the bills with. I absolutely acknowledge that, but I think there are times where it gets to the point where they don't press not as much as I would like to. And the other side of that beat writer coin is, even if they press a little bit harder than Gary Pinkel and the players want, the team needs those beat writers just as much as the beat writers need the team.
Well, that's a good point. And I wonder sometimes, though, and not just the University of Missouri, but even other schools, as they develop their websites and their social media awareness, I wonder sometimes how much they think they need that local media. But you do need that, though, because you have to have that balance, because you don't want the pure propaganda coming one-sided from the school. So I certainly get that point as well. Seth, if I had a criticism with the way that Gary Pinkel has handled this, not from the suspension standpoint, but maybe it's from player leadership or mentors or peers of Matty Mauk. Here's a guy who comes off a suspension, who missed 4 games, apologizes to his teammates on Wednesday. And again, this is all hearsay, and I don't know how much of this is true or whatever. It happened Wednesday night. Right. I'm not going to get into that. But here we have a kid that apologizes Wednesday afternoon, and then that night is in trouble. And I guess my criticism toward Pinkel would be, if you're this family that you talk about, where's the support group that's watching Mauk? Where are the senior captains that are saying, hey, Matty, you hang out with us tonight. We're not going out. Were there other players with him? If so, why did they put him in a situation where he could get in trouble? Or if they weren't with him, why isn't somebody kind of watching him and getting him through this tough point? That would be the criticism that I have of Pinkel is, where's the support system during when a player is having an issue, whatever that issue is?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That is an exceptional point, Bill. It's tough. I think we all know what the rumors are at this point. I think there are enough Tiger fans that are on Facebook or on Twitter or on Snapchat and the myriad of other social media platforms that they know what the rumors are. If those rumors are accurate, I would think that Matty Mauk would need more than 4 weeks to get his act cleaned up. And Pinkel, who preaches the accountability and this is a family atmosphere, I think he owed it to Matty Mauk to just let him sit for the remainder of the season, get all of his ducks in a row. So, when and if Gary Pinkel did choose to reinstate Matty Mauk next year, he was absolutely confident, as much as he possibly could be, that, all right, I gave this individual time to work his issues out, and I helped him as much as I could. Now we're going to put him back out there.
Seth Merenbloom is from campuspressbox.com. Bill Pollock with you, Missouri Net. We're about 20 minutes from kickoff. I'm at Faurot Field, and we're talking about the Matty Mauk suspension. All right, let me throw this one out there, and just let me get your thoughts on this. Here's a scenario that when the first suspension came out, Matty was going to sit the South Carolina game, and then we were told that the Sunday following that game, everything would be reevaluated. And I said a lot of that is going to depend on what Drew Lock does, because Gary Pinkel's ultimate job is to win football games. Yes. And there was some pressure to have Drew Lock get more than just 1 or 2 series a game. And so at the time, I kind of, maybe played this up a little bit as, okay, what exactly did he do to break the rules that all of a sudden he's going to sit a week? It's kind of convenient for Pinkel. It gives him an easy out to start a freshman quarterback over Mauk, a guy who was 17-5 as a starter. They get through the 1 week, and they win against South Carolina, and Drew plays very well. Then all of a sudden, there's a 3-week suspension. Now you play Florida, tough defense, and Gary Pinkel said that's probably the toughest defense we'll ever face. You go on the road to Georgia, lose a close game. Then you lose to Vanderbilt, which is a game you should not lose.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, Matty Mauk is reinstated. Does that seem fishy to you at all?
Initially,
if I'm playing that conspiracy theory type.
Yeah, I heard that conspiracy theory proposed by some other people, and on the surface at first, I didn't give it much credence. I just kind of fluffed it off. But the more that I hear it thrown out there, the more it starts to make a little bit of sense to me, and that's about the only rationale that reconciles to me with Pinkel saying we're all a family. I want to do what is best for the player, and then you see this rush to judgment, at least in hindsight.
And that's maybe where I give you credit for the criticism, is that how does it play out in terms of football? Yeah, maybe we don't necessarily want to know what exactly happened to the kid or what he did or the student athlete, but how does that play into the role of the football team? And maybe when you can push some of those questions a little bit, maybe you can get some of those answers and figure out the impact it has as a football team. So interesting article, Seth. I'm going to post this, obviously, on MissouriNet.com, this hangout and that article for fans to read, because you come out swinging. You say it like it is, and I respect you for your opinion for that, at least.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And as always, I don't know if you can hear me with the press box PA now going, but Seth, I appreciate you coming on as always, and we'll catch up again soon.
All right, excellent. Go Tigers.
All right. Hey, any predictions tonight?
I've got Mississippi State 19, Mizzou 13.
So they find the end zone. The offense or the defense?
I think the defense finds the end zone tonight.
All right, very good. All right, Seth, and then Twitter handle.
At S Merenbloom.
All right, very good. So thanks a lot again, and thanks for watching us here at MissouriNet.com. More of our Mizzou coverage coming up.